Right, so what we now have is the situation of interest, paying interest on late um, corporation tax. So it's 3% that's given to us, thankfully, in the tables. And interest runs from when it is due, the date of payment. Remember that for small companies, it's due 9 months and 1 day. This is important. So don't mix it up with the 12 days. 12 days is for filing, 9 months and 1 day is when the tax is due. But of course, um, so here we are, interest is charged. There we are. And interest is charged. Interest paid by companies on overdue tax is deductible for any interest income. So they can map that, and we'll come to that. We'll see that interest income is possible if you have overpaid because of all that guesstimation, so to speak. Right. So what do we have here? We have these people here. Tikva corporation tax liability 92,000 for the year end. 30th of June 2018, which takes us, it's not large, so that takes us, we need 9 months. So 6 takes us to December, and 3 takes us to March. So the 1st of April is what I'm looking for, 2019. Yes, 6 to the end of the year, and 3 extra months plus 1 day. So 1st of April. But what happened? What didn't you do? It says you don't pay the amount until the 30th of September. So if you don't pay the amount till then, you pretty much have April, May, June, July, August, September, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 months. 6 months, if you like. So 6 months, 6 over 12 times 92,000 at 3%. And that's what we need to work out, pretty much. Right? And that comes to 1,380. Cool, great. So let's look at some other things. Thankfully, this is given to you in the table. Repayment interest. So HMRC will pay you back if you've paid too much corporation tax at a rate of 0.5%. And you can see it says here interest runs from the later of the due date and the actual payment to the date you're actually repaid. So if you paid on time, then they'll repay you. When they repay you is the point the interest will run until. And it is ironic, but it does say that repayment interest is taxable interest income as well. So you record it under your interest income. These are the tables for you. So I think I wouldn't. You can remember it, but you can always go back and look at it to see whether or not the taxpayer's behavior dependent on whether or not it's been deliberate or deliberate and concealed or careless. Questions will ask you about the minimum penalty and the minimum penalty if it's unprompted or prompted. So if you're told or if you do it yourself. And so you have this in the tables for you to work with. So I wouldn't stress too much. I'd always refer to these in terms of, if you like, this idea of a standard penalty in terms of not notifying liability to tax or errors in return. So I would kind of always come back here and reference these. Right, and that kind of, oh yes, no, here we are. The last bit here, in terms of compliance, yes, another bit of just general information. HMRC have 12 months after the actual filing date. And again, they do this thing where they can do the follow like quarter days. So when I say quarter days, so following the 12-month anniversary, if the return is filed late, then they have these quarter days for when they can then kind of request to come in and do some compliance. But typically, what you really want to remember is that 12 months after the actual filing date, HMRC can come in and have a look. And if you like, but if you file late, of course, then it'll be literally 12 months following the 12-month anniversary of the actual, if you like, of the actual filing date. Right, and so where are we? So we have here, these are the quarter days. Again, I wouldn't, have a look and wait for an exam question to pop up and then do some practice to actually test this. But remembering this now is just going to be kind of torturous. Here we are. So in terms of discovery elements, discovery assessments, if HMRC want to come along, they have pretty much 4 years, just the basic rate. If they For careless behavior, 6 years, and deliberate behavior, they have up to 20 years. So typically, I think this is kind of the this is HMRC wanting to do some further investigation on your work. So I think yes, I think now you should be able to throw yourselves into questions and come back and keep on looking at this over and over again and marrying it to questions that you do. And we'll do that when we do questions. We can apply this. I think this is the best way to do this. Okay, great stuff. See you in the question bank.